You're tuned in to the only all-sports talk network in the Middle East, IsraelSportsRadio.com.
From the AACI studios in downtown Tapio, Jerusalem, it's Louis Live! Now here's your host, me, Ari Louis. Good evening, everyone out there. It's great to broadcast tonight live from Jerusalem, Israel, our nation's capital. It's Louis Live. We're here till midnight. We have a huge show for you tonight. 4 great guests. We have Andy Dorf from Dorf on Sports. We then at 10:30 have Jeremy Last, associate press writer and former sports editor of the Jerusalem Post. At 11 o'clock, Jim Williams from the Washington Examiner. And 11:30, special musician Neshama Karbach. But we're going to get started right now. Our man from Phoenix, Arizona. We're going to discuss some Phoenix sports as they've been tearing it up lately. The Dorf man, Andy Dorf. Dorf, how are you doing today?
I'm super, Ari. You know, it's always a pleasure talking to you about sports, and always a pleasure just to be in Phoenix, Arizona, man. It's a great spot.
Absolutely, and let's get right to it. Let's start with the Diamondbacks. Amazing success. Look, they're going to walk away with that division in the NL West. I don't know who would have thunk that. Ian Kennedy might get the Cy Young. It's between most likely him, Roy Halladay. Obviously, some people will say Clayton Kershaw as well. Let's start first with the Cy Young possibilities. Where does Ian stand in that regard? Well,
again, you know, you mentioned the 3 guys that are definitely tops the list, but with what the Diamondbacks have done, and obviously with Ian getting his 20th victory the other day, I think he has put himself above the rest. I really do. And I think it's just one of those unique, special situations where, yeah, Kershaw may have better stuff to a certain degree. Halladay may have a little better stuff. However, Ian Kennedy is a workhorse, and quite frankly, he's got more gas than most people think. He can throw the mid-90s fastball, and he can work the plate. So I'll tell you what, he's been fantastic for the Diamondbacks, as we all know, with the 20 victories. But again, has put himself, I think, in first place as far as the Cy Young goes because of the 20 victories, because of the fact that the Arizona Diamondbacks were a team that nobody thought would be in this position. He's a huge part of that, and I really think that he is very deserving of getting the Cy Young this year. So I would have to put him first right now. And again, like I said, I understand, you know, Kershaw's phenomenal, Halladay's phenomenal, but the body of work that the Arizona Diamondbacks have done and Ian Kennedy over the season is remarkable. And again, nobody, it's the unthinkable if you think about it. No one in their right mind would have ever predicted the Arizona Diamondbacks pushing for the division and ultimately winning this division as our magic number's down to 2. So I really like Ian Kennedy to win the Cy Young. And I think it's the body of work based on what the Diamondbacks and he's done all season long.
The advantage Ian Kennedy ironically has over, I would say both Clayton Kershaw and Roy Halladay are 2 different scenarios. With Clayton Kershaw, I would say that Ian, playing on a better team, playing in a pennant race, is pitching in games that mean more, that means more pressure, so he has advantage there. With Roy Halladay, no offense to the Diamondbacks, but the Phillies' supporting cast around Roy is a better team. Therefore, I could argue Ian's got to put up with lower run support than the Phillies have, and they're juggling out on offense. Also, the defense of the Phillies is better, which can help save some runs for Roy Halladay, and it's an advantage that Ian Kennedy doesn't have.
No, absolutely. And, and when you really look at it, you break things down, all these guys have been remarkable for the last month, last 10 starts, whatever it is. They've all been great, so you really can't go wrong choosing any one of these 3. But again, I think that you pointed out some pretty big and important things. When you're playing the games that matter and the pressure's that much greater, I think that means a little bit more. And those wins are more significant than the Clayton Kershaws because obviously the Dodgers out of the mix. And, give them a little bit of credit, too, to be honest with you. With all the distractions that have gone on, the Dodgers are right around that 500 mark. And ultimately, let's just throw it out there. If they didn't have all kinds of crazy things happen during the year, maybe the Dodgers could have made a little bit of a run in the division too. So, I think what Kershaw did, to a certain degree is somewhat impressive. But again, I think you hit it on the nail on the head with the games of significance and more importance. Definitely for the Arizona Diamondbacks, they had more pressure to stay above the Giants and hold them off. So yeah, I think that again they're all right around the same ERA, and there's you can like certain things about certain guys. But again, the body of work of the Diamondbacks and Ian Kennedy this season, nothing short of spectacular, remarkable, and I don't think that you can take away this season from the Diamondbacks and what it's meant for them and for baseball. So I really think that he's the guy, and I won't be surprised to see him win the Cy Young this year because I really believe that he's very deserving of the award.
The Diamondbacks, so far, the ultimate Jekyll and Hyde franchise. You take a look that they win the World Series in their fourth year of existence. They go to the playoffs the following year, then have an 0-4, one of the worst years in baseball history. 0-7 playing in the NLCS, back winning the division this year. What has been the secret this season for the Diamondbacks outside, of course, Ian Kennedy?
Well, I think you got to look at the coaching staff. Don Baylor, Alan Trammell. Obviously Kirk Gibson. You bring in that kind of support and those kinds of leaders. I think that it just, the rest of the guys buy into a system very easy then, and it makes the daily grind of going to the park and working out not such a grind. I mean, you're going out there and you're learning a heck of a lot from guys who've done it before and guys that are Hall of Famers, So I think it's just been one of those magical seasons, I mean, again, it's a team that there's a bunch of great guys. There are a lot of young guys. You have the Justin Uptons on this team that, everyone knew how much potential he had, and then this year he finally grasped that talent, and also the fans embraced him this year, and, I talked to you earlier, in the season, and I told you I really thought that they got to figure out a way to keep Justin Upton in Arizona and for a long time, and I think that just again it's one of those special seasons, Ari, where these guys have all come together, bought into a system that you have a bunch of Hall of Famers kind of leading you and showing you the way, and give credit to the whole organization. They went out and made moves. They got pitching staff in here, and they J.J. Putz is a great closer. He's got all kinds of great stuff. The middle relief is good. I mean, again, they get timely hitting. Roberts is a guy who's played phenomenal all season long. You're just so many different guys stepped up, Ari. I mean, it's an amazing season, and ultimately, this team, obviously it's a 10-year reunion for the Arizona Diamondback team that won the World Series. They were just back here, a 3 weeks ago. With the team, and it was just such a special type of atmosphere, and it really made me think about 2001 when they were able to do it, and this team has a lot of similarities to that team, So I really think good things could be in store for the D-backs. However, I am a Brewers fan ultimately at heart, and it'd be awesome to see the Brewers and Diamondbacks playing for the National League West. So that would be an ultimate dream. But again, I can't say enough about the Diamondbacks and what they've done this year. It's just been nothing short of spectacular.
It looks like that most likely the Brewers and Diamondbacks, if everything holds up, will play in the first round of the playoffs. So, Dorf, you go back to your Midwest ties and root for Milwaukee?
It's one of those situations, man. I can't lose, right? I mean,
I like that.
Yeah, my first feeling would obviously be for the Brewers to be able to get it done, and but at the same time, I live in Arizona. I cover the D-backs, and hey, it'd be fun to be able to cover a team all the way to the World Series. So it's one of those situations where I really can't lose. But yeah, my loyalties, I'm not going to lie, they're still with the Packers, the Bucks, the Brewers, and all those Milwaukee teams because. I'm a homer, man, to a certain degree, but I'm I'm a guy living in Arizona in the desert, and I still root for those Wisconsin teams, you know?
Well, of course, as a kid, yours truly rooted for the St. Louis Cardinals, and there was not the Diamondbacks until 1998, so I used to go to Busch Stadium once a summer, and the Cardinals and the D-backs hooked up twice in the postseason, 2001 and 2002, and it's very simple. In 2001, I was a Diamondbacks fan, and in 2002, when the Cardinals beat the D-backs, I was a Cardinals fan. I just did it that way.
There you go.
I did it after the fact.
Man, whatever works, you know?
Now, I want to ask you, because you talked about one of the main secrets to the Diamondbacks' success has been Kirk Gibson and the coaching staff. Is Kirk Gibson the manager of the year in the National League?
Oh, most definitely. I mean, that goes without saying. You know, it's just been an incredible season for him. I mean, like I said, you know, it's one of the more unique situations. You know, you don't see a lot of teams where the general manager is going out there with the guys and jumping in the huddle and, you know, giving everybody fives and just being like almost part of the team. You know, it's just such a unique situation. And Kirk Gibson, the kind of player he was, he's the same type of manager, and you know, guys see that, and they seem to respond to what he's doing. So I think without a doubt, hands down, manager of the year, and it should be somewhat convincing, to be honest with you. So yeah, I mean, ultimately, the best manager in baseball right now is Kirk Gibson. I mean, with the work he's done with the Diamondbacks this season, again, a young team just came into its own this season under his tutelage and his leadership. He's a remarkable guy, and you know, it shows because everybody out there plays hard for him. They never quit, man. I mean, they can be down in games late in that 7th, 8th inning, and they rally, and it's got a lot to do with Kirk Gibson instilling in these guys the belief that they can go out there and get their job done no matter what the situation is. So yeah, he's the man as far as I'm concerned, the best manager in baseball right now.
Dorfman, last Diamondbacks question for today's program. J.J. Putz, the reliever, the interesting name. Is he a member of the tribe? Is he one of us?
You know what? That's a great question. I'm not quite sure, but I mean, you know, as far as it goes, you know, I don't want to be that stereotypical guy. I wouldn't say he necessarily looks like he is, but that's a great question. I'm gonna have to find out, man.
I mean, you got those press credentials. You can go to the locker room and go, "Hey, JJ, I just want to ask you something real quick," and just kind of flash them.
You part of the tribe or what, man? Yeah, I just gotta ask him.
Now, let's go to the Arizona Cardinals. Interesting season so far, first 2 games. The first game, I don't know if you'd say impressive victory because the Carolina Panthers were 1-15 last year. They win right at the end of the fourth quarter. Then with the Redskins, they have the lead with 2 minutes left. They choke it. So what are your thoughts initially of the first 2 games for the Arizona Cardinals?
Well, my thoughts on Cam Newton is he's impressive, to be quite honest with
absolutely.
you. The guy is way beyond what people could have imagined him being, other than myself. I really believed in this kid, and I knew he had a great work ethic. I knew that he could go out there and perform at the NFL level. However, the Arizona Cardinals, you're talking about a little bit, and, you know, the first game, like you said, that was like the free spot on the bingo card because you figured if you can't beat Carolina the first week out, you know, with Cam Newton as a rookie quarterback, you're in trouble. And then the guy goes out and lights him up for 422 yards, and you're like, holy cow, what's going on here? So, you know, the first game, they got it under their belt. Like you said, not totally impressive, but not terrible. We're able to get the job done. Week 2, they go to Washington, and they have that game right in their hands. You know, I'm sitting there watching. I'm somewhat amazed because they go out to, usually when the Cardinals go out to the East Coast, they struggle, and vice versa. The East Coast teams come to the West Coast, and they struggle because of the time change and, you know, get you out of your normal routine. However, the Cardinals went into that game, and they looked sharp, and then they were playing pretty good football, and then for some, you know, short span of time, you fall asleep in an NFL football game, and you give yourself, or you put yourself in a bad position to give another team opportunities, and that's what they did. They just kept giving the Skins opportunities. They kept chipping away at it a little bit, and, you know, sooner or later, you keep knocking on that door, you're going to break through, and that's exactly what happened for the Skins, and they were able to get the job done against the Cardinals the other day. So a heartbreaking loss, you know, obviously a very close football game, but I was somewhat impressed that the Cardinals went out on the East Coast and they were able to battle, and they didn't look like they had the West Coast hangover going into the game. So with that being said, I was impressed that the Cardinals went out and battled for 60 minutes, and again had a couple slip-ups, and that ultimately cost them the game. But early in the season, I'm okay with what the Cardinals are doing. I think this week's an important one. You go to Seattle, a team that's struggling, and obviously they've had all kinds of changes, quarterback, and they don't really, Sidney Rice hasn't played yet, I don't think, so they haven't been able to get themselves totally, up and going. And I think that the Cardinals, if they want to have any chance to win this division, you got to go out there and you got to get the victory this week and be 2-1 in that division, and that puts themselves in a pretty good spot, because I don't think anybody's winning more than 8 games in that division. So you're looking at a team that's going to be about 500 to win the division, and you just got to keep your head above 500 right now, and Cardinals have a good shot to do that this week against Seattle.
And Larry Fitzgerald, first 2 games, playing amazing. He's got 10 catches, almost 200 yards already in the young season. But I want you to talk about Beanie Wells. He's almost at 200 yards on the young campaign, has 2 touchdowns. Cardinals, obviously, if they don't have a running game, they're going to be able to double, triple, maybe even 4 guys in Larry Fitz. Who knows? So they have to keep them honest by having a solid running game. So talk about the role of Beanie Wells.
Beanie Wells is coming along. I mean, I've liked the way he's carried the ball the last 2 weeks. Like you said, he's around that 200 mark. But when he holds the ball and he's getting going, a full head of steam, he's tough to bring down, and I think that's ultimately what they liked about him, more so than a Tim Hightower, who they let go to Washington, by the way. Obviously, he had a pretty good game, but Beanie is a guy that could be, a next level back. He's that type of player. At least that's the way the Cardinals feel about him. And so ultimately, this is his year to have that reign and to go out there and make things happen for the Cardinals on the field. And so far, so good. And the thing I worry about with Beanie more than anything is holding on to the football. That was his problem. That was Tim Hightower's problem. That's been the Cardinals' problem to a certain degree, as far as being able to hold on to the football and continue to have positive things happen for the offense. So, and like you said, a running game is very important. It helps Larry Fitzgerald out because it makes him that much more accessible. And ultimately, they want to use Larry to go downfield. And, you have to be able to kind of bring guys in the box with that running game so that you can get that one-on-one, man-on-man coverage, and then Fitz, he can be himself. So, yeah, I think they all work hand in hand. And, Cobb throws a pretty good ball. He can throw a real nice deep ball. So, again, man, I think that the Cardinals have a lot of positives. They have a lot of upside, and they just got to kind of get the kinks worked out and keep pushing forward, because I really think this division is right there for the taking for them. And, I think that they can be a pretty good offensive football team.
Now, I want you to talk about the other teams in the West, because I did not think the 49ers would be where they are. I know, again, they are playing great, but this is a team that had 5 wins last year, and Seattle gets shut out by the Steelers. I didn't think that was going to happen. They're 0-2, and the Rams, of course, 0-2. And the Rams are going to have a really tough schedule because they have Washington coming up at Baltimore. So talk about the other teams in the NFC. Do the Cardinals have to really look out for the San Francisco 49ers and Alex Smith?
No, I don't think they have to look out for anybody. That's like I'm saying. I mean, okay. I really think an 8-8 season will get them the division. I mean, they just have to go out and play Cardinal football. The 49ers have a weapon in Frank Gore. They've got a weapon with Vernon Davis. I don't really think Alex Smith is that great. I mean, I wouldn't be too worried about him. Like I said, Seattle, you've got a new quarterback in that situation. Tavares Jackson, who's there now leading them. And again, he doesn't scare me. Seattle doesn't have really any weapons that scare me. I mean, again, I think that this division is, like I said, it's right there for the taking for the Cardinals. I think, at the skill positions, you could make a real argument that the Cardinals have the best of the bunch in this division. So, with that being said, I think the Cardinals win this division. I mean, it's just there really is nobody else to take, to be honest with you. I look, you talk about Frisco, you talk about Seattle. It's the Rams. I would have liked the Rams, to be honest with you, but they've gotten out to such a bad start. They're 0-2, and obviously they're in somewhat of a hole right now. So I would have liked them earlier. If we were talking about this before the season, I would have said I think St. Louis could really give the Cardinals a run for their money. But with Steven Jackson being a little banged up, and then obviously Sam Bradford a little banged up, it makes things a little bit more difficult for them to have a great shot in the division. So I really, again, I'm not trying to be a homer here again, but I just think the Cardinals have the best team in the division, and I don't think they need to worry about anybody, and I think they just need to go out and play Cardinal football week in and week out.
And the Rams, like I mentioned, just for the sports fans out there who think the Rams might have a shot at this, a brutal schedule. You have Baltimore, Washington, the bye, defending Super Bowl champs Green Bay, Dallas, New Orleans, and then the Cardinals will play them on November 6th. So they somehow, some way got the short end of the stick with the early part of the schedule. I don't know how exactly that happened. Dorf, want to move to the NBA to some degree, and since we're on the Phoenix theme, former Phoenix Suns player Charles Barkley, our favorite knucklehead out there, he was voted one of the top TV characters by Rolling Stone. And Charles, I believe, still has a house out in Paradise Valley. So what do you think when you see Charles Barkley on TV? Do you say, hey, that was a member of our team, that was one of our boys of the Suns, or you just kind of go, let's just kind of move on?
You know what? I love Charles. I'll be honest with you. I think he's obviously outspoken. He says what he feels. He can get away with a lot more than your typical average, ordinary guy, too. But with that being said, you can't take away what he's done. He knows the game, and as far as what he does on TV with EJ and Ernie, they do a great job. I mean, it's the best. It's the best analysis. It's the most entertaining analysis of NBA basketball, as far as I'm concerned, and I think that he gives you a real perspective. I think he's played the game at the highest of all levels. Let's face it, never won the title, but this guy was a great basketball player, one of the best at his position, and again, he knows the game. So I take Charles Barkley at times. You got to take it like a grain of salt.
Right.
Sometimes he's saying things just to make a splash. But again, when he's really being analytical about things and thinking about them, he knows the games and he knows what's happening. He knows the players as well. He's got great relationships with a lot of these players that are playing now. And he ultimately has a really good inside scoop on things. And again, if you can get through the garbage that he throws out there every now and then, I think he's a great analyst. And I mean, he knows his X's and O's, and he knows the game. So as far as some of the things he says, like I said, I think he can get away with a lot more than your average, ordinary guy. But to a certain degree, I think he's earned that right. To go out and do that. So, hey, I give props to him. I think Charles is phenomenal, and I've seen him out and about, out on town, and every time I've talked to him, very good guy, and he's always friendly, and he's like I said, he's really accessible. So, I think he's a good guy, and I don't have any problems with him winning awards or anything, because I think he does a very good job.
So, Dorf, he's never picked you up at 30 for a plate glass window, anything like that? Never spit on you?
Nah, just the only few times I've seen him, this place is called Frazier's, actually. It's a steakhouse in Scottsdale, and, he's, like I said, always really calm, relaxed, having a good time. Sometimes he's there with Roy Green, who I'm sure he's good buddies with, and, just hanging out and doing his thing and trying to be a regular person for the most part. So, good guy, man. Seriously.
Yeah, everyone out there should listen, because Phoenix is such a beautiful place and a great place that any athlete that has bought a house there at some point, even if they don't play for the team, they get traded or free agency, they usually keep the house there and still live there in the off season or some portion of the year. There's a lot of famous athletes out there, right, Dorf?
Oh, most definitely. Yeah. I mean, Donovan McNabb has a house out here. His mom lives out here, and Reggie Sanders, a guy who I'm somewhat tight with, has a place out here, also lives out in Myrtle Beach. But yeah, you're right. I mean, this is a great place to be. I mean, think about it. It's today it's another one. I mean, it's a little warm still, we're still pushing that 100-degree, but, there's not a cloud in the sky, and, it's a great place to train. Obviously with the weather we have, you can do all kinds of training out here, so it makes a lot of sense that athletes want to come and live in Arizona, and again, it's a super nice place, but a great place for them to train.
All right, Dorf, last question for the evening. The Phoenix Mercury get the revenge on the Seattle Storm by beating them in the first round of the playoffs. They get the victory, of course, win the series 2-1. How much does that mean to the Phoenix fans out there?
It's amazing that you even asked me about this, because usually I would tell you, hey, it's I have no interest in that, but it's really kind of weird that night, the football game wasn't that great, let's be honest.
Right.
The Giants are stomping all over St. Louis, and I just happened to flip through the channels, right, and boom, there's the Mercury playing the Seattle Storm, and the first half, I turned it on, they're getting blown out, and so then I kind of lose my interest in it for 15, 20 minutes or something. I go back to the football game, and they're still getting crushed, and it's getting worse and worse. And so then I said, okay, let's just flip back and see what's going on in that basketball game. Well, lo and behold, the Mercury made a heck of a game of it. They actually pull it out late in that ball game with a buzzer beater by one of the girls who picked up a rebound. So they win the game 77-75. And I've actually was watching the game and found it to be somewhat. Don't. I hope you don't record this, but I actually found it somewhat exciting. Okay?
Yeah.
I actually found it somewhat exciting watching this basketball game, and I was amazed that these women were actually as entertaining as they were. And Diana Taurasi, we all know her. She's a star, and she falls out of the game. The Mercury continue to get the job done, and you're right. They shocked the Storm in Seattle, and now they have a chance to go back to a Western Conference Finals. So it's. I don't think it moves Phoenix quite the way that the Suns would move them, or the D-backs would move them, or the Cardinals. But it is something that you got in your town, and at least we're still playing basketball to some degree, whether it's not it's not men's basketball, but we're playing women's professional basketball in the WNBA, and the Mercury are still alive. So yeah, it's crazy. You happen to catch me on a day where I actually know something about that game.
Dorf, I converted you, my friend. I got you. See, now you're in.
No, you haven't converted me at all. I was super bored that night, and again, like I said, the other entertainment I was watching just wasn't that entertaining. So I had to kind of just move in a different direction to me, I'm a sports guy.
Yeah.
I just got to try to find the next game that excites me, and I'm a huge basketball fan, that I will tell you, but I usually like the guys that play above the rim, not the ones that play below the rim. So it was quite a shock for me to actually enjoy it. But hey, again, it was entertaining, and a 2-point ball game on a buzzer beater. I mean,
not bad.
That's good for anybody. So,
sure. And they came back, like you mentioned, they were heavily down early in the first half, and they came back to win. And if they get the title, it'll be the third title in 5 years. So that's 4 years, 5 seasons, so that'll be exciting, dynastic stuff. Dorf, my man, great fun as always. I wish you all the best the rest of the week. Also, Happy New Year as well. All the best to you and your family, and thanks so much for being on Louis Live tonight.
Yeah, I appreciate it, and back at you. Everything that you just said to me goes back to you too, buddy.
Thanks, man. I really appreciate it.
All righty, dude. Take care. Have a great one. We'll talk to you soon.
All right, man. Be well. It was Andy Dorf from Dorf on Sports getting into the WNBA, but like he said, he was kind of only into it because the football game wasn't too good. But nevertheless, I am very happy with the Mercury. This was a huge victory because the Storm swept them last year. The Storm owned the Mercury last season. They owned everybody. They were just an awesome team last year. Lauren Jackson, Sue Bird, it's just a tough combination to defeat. And this year, though, they're not the champions. They are not going to be the champions this year. I can tell you that for a fact. I guarantee that. Mercury, they're going to have their hands full. They will have their hands full. They're going to have to take on the Minnesota Lynx, and the Lynx have arguably been the best team in the entire WNBA. So it's not going to be simple. But they're 2 wins away from the WNBA Finals. And like I mentioned, they won the title in 07 and 09, third title in 5 seasons Wouldn't be that bad. Not too shabby. All right, let's take a commercial break, and when we come back, the man who was the former sports editor of the Jerusalem Post, now the current Associated Press writer, a current writer for the Associated Press, Jeremy Last, right after this.
Offering the best of Israel at the best price, Shalom Israel Tours can help you make your next trip to Israel the adventure of a lifetime. Shalom Israel Tours will customize a trip to Israel for your family or group. Specializing in bar mitzvah packages, outdoor adventure vacations, wine tours, and more, Shalom Israel Tours is sure to inspire. So whether you're looking for a customized trip, a day tour, or a car rental, Shalom Israel Tours is here to help. Email us at inspire@shalomisraeltours.com or click the banner on the Israel Sports Radio homepage, and soon you will find yourself in Israel. That's Shalom Israel Tours, www.shalomisraeltours.com.
Are you ready to get serious about your health and fitness? iFit trainers provide one-on-one personal training and put together the best fitness program to get the right results for you. Find your I in Fit. We offer certified personal trainers with elite athletic experience and flexible hours at the convenience of your own home. Classes are offered in English and in Hebrew. We serve Jerusalem and the surrounding areas. For more information and to schedule your first workout session, call Alyssa at 054-759-7280 or email Alyssa, ELISSA, at i-fit.co.il. Visit us at www.i-fit.co.il or click on the iFit banner on the Israel Sports Radio homepage.
Feeling overwhelmed with all you have to do? Let your personal shopper help. Chani is an experienced gift shopper and can help free up your day. Chani can assist you in finding the perfect gift for your upcoming simchas or pick up those light items at the grocery. And don't forget, if you are in the area of the Israel Center on Karen HaYesod, stop by on Monday or Tuesday between 8:30 a.m. and 12:30 p.m. to check out all the great gifts Chani has to offer. For more information, call 02-654-2155 or email chani@netvision.net.il. Don't forget to check out her great website at www.chanisgifts.com.
Israel Sports Dynamics specializes in football consulting, equipment, uniforms, and more. Great brands such as Nike, Russell Athletics, Schutt Sports Products, and many more. Just one call away. With over 30 years coaching experience with university and professional athletes, Terry Hill, owner of ISD, can advise you for all your sports needs. Call 054-581-3248. That's 054-581-3248 or visit our website at www.isdisrael.com. If that's not easy enough, click on the ISD banner on the Israel Sports Radio website and be part of the game.
Are you having computer issues? You just got to try these guys. Tiger Computer Services, 050-708-1599. All of Jerusalem is talking about them. They're super experienced, efficient, reliable, and honest. Their lead technician has over 20 years experience and holds a BS in computer science from a top American university. Mickey from Machavia says, I will let anybody touch my computers except for Tiger. So call Tiger Computer Services, 050-708-1599. Believe me, you'll be happy that you did. Ruven from Baca says, I've had many technicians in the past, and these guys are some of the best I've seen. Laptops, desktops, netbooks, Macintoshes, iPods, iPhones. All hardware and software problems, advice, and instruction. The next time you need a very experienced and honest computer technician, call Tiger Computer Services at 050-708-1599. Mention Israel Sports Radio for a 15% discount for all new customers. Are you living in the Tel Aviv area and looking to achieve those fitness goals that seem out of reach? If so, personal trainer Leon Kessler is just one call away. Leon will teach, coach, advise, supervise, and support you so that you are able to accomplish your fitness goals. One call is 050-792-2434 and will put your goals in reach. That's 050-792-2434 or click on the Leon Kessler banner on the Israel Sports Radio website and see what Leon can do for you.
Midreshet Devorah, a Dati Leumi post-high school program which educates minds and broadens horizons. Located in Baca, the lovely Jerusalem neighborhood provides an excellent background and setting for a tremendous education. Our students learn, love, and feel the land of Israel and get tools which will last them a lifetime. Generous scholarships are available. Please contact us at midrashatvora.org. Call us from Israel at 052-534-6260 or from North America at 718-593-4162. Midrashat Devora, we're the program you've been waiting for.
DJ Venom. DJ Venom. DJ Venom. DJing parties throughout Israel. Birthday parties, weddings, club events, bar mitzvahs, bat mitzvahs, and much more. You pick the type of music and DJ Venom will turn your event into the party of the year. Available Sunday through Thursday. Call 052-952-6506 or email djvenom1984@yahoo.com. That's 052-952-6506 or email djvenom1984@yahoo.com. Book your party today. That's DJ Venom.
Back here on Louis Live, and it is my pleasure to now bring on our next guest. He is a writer for the Associated Press and the former sports editor of the Jerusalem Post, Jeremy Last. Jeremy, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing great, thanks. How are you?
Yes, and I finally got that intro right, so I'm very happy about that. A lot of great things. Yes, it took me 3 times. 3 times is a charm, as they like to say. A lot of great things to talk about in the world of soccer. Let's first start with the huge story that a gentleman, an Israeli, is giving up on playing for the Israeli team and playing for Poland instead. So give us the details on that story.
Yeah, it's a crazy situation at the moment, which people are quite surprised about. I'm sorry, I'm on the radio, Ariel. I can't be quiet, and people are fine. I'm so sorry. I'm in Jaffins.
No, it's all good, Jeremy. Don't worry about it. You're fine, baby.
Oh my god. Anyway, there's this guy called Martin Medixon who is from Israel, but his mum's from Poland, and he never played in a real game for the national team for Israel. He's always been a bit of a flop. But somehow he managed to have a good season last year in Beersheva, and he got bought by Wisla Krakow, and his mum's Polish. He played twice in friendlies for Israel recently, but never played in a competitive game or in a qualifier. And suddenly it emerged that Poland wanted him to stay very well in Krakow, and he's going to play for Poland. You know, it was an absolute outrage to me. People associate Poland with the Nazis and so on, and people are scared, and they think it's a bit of a slap in the face. And so there's a big uproar, and then today said he might not. And just the idea of an Israeli playing for Poland, when he was actually had a chance of going for the national team in the last couple of weeks when Israel played last, but he got injured in training, otherwise he would have played. So it's kind of a slap in the face, but it turns out he's changed his mind, or he's definitely not committing to it at the moment.
In the past, have we seen this? Would this been a precedent? Had he gone to play for Poland? What are some other times that players have played for countries that haven't been exactly so friendly to the Jews?
It happens all around the world in all different sports, but in Israel, I have never really heard of it before, and just Israel is a very sort of idea of the Jewish state, and it's something that people fought for, and it was a dream, and the idea that we're Jewish and we've been persecuted abroad, it's not so happening. I mean, other countries, if you look at a very interesting case of the Boateng brothers, Jerome and George, were from Ghana originally. They moved to Germany when they were young, and one of them chose to play for Ghana, one of them chose to play for Germany, even though they both actually play in Germany at the moment, I think, or maybe one plays in England. But they went to the World Cup last year, or the year before, whenever it was, in 2010, South Africa, and one was playing for Germany and one was playing for Ghana in the same tournament. So it does happen. It happens a lot, especially in cricket and other sports like that. In basketball, my gosh, people play for national teams rather than American, but this idea that people could be really brought in so quickly, that's one thing. I mean, it really reminds me of, it was different. There was 2 things. In Ireland, do you know much about the Irish soccer team?
No, you have to enlighten me, Jeremy. I don't know too much about it.
When I was growing up in the 80s, when I was young, my first time football, Northern Ireland were the big team that got to the World Cup, with Billy Bingham and Pat Jennings was the goalkeeper, and they had all sorts of great players. And the Republic of Ireland, the rest of Ireland, it's split still, obviously, the one that's part of the United Kingdom, wasn't good. And then suddenly Jack Charlton, who was a guy from Newcastle, England, who won the World Cup with England, he became the coach, and he decided to try and recruit anybody who's got Irish grandparents. So it was just like somebody full of English players who played in the top division in England. They were brilliant. So this idea of recruiting players. So here they see Martin Ericsson was really, and they think it's good, and you should go. And there was players like Andy Townsend, John Aldridge, who played for Ireland. They were Irish at all. And there was also another interesting thing about when I first started the Jerusalem Post. I went about 4 or 5 years ago. I went to the marathon in Tiberias. You heard about the Tiberias Marathon?
I have not heard about it. I heard of the course the Jerusalem.
It was the only main one. Now it's one in Tel Aviv, one in Jerusalem as well. At the time, it's the only main one. The guys who won it, they always bring in, they're shipping these Africans, Kenyans and stuff. They're very good runners who get paid not so much, and they'll sort of raise the bar, make it a higher quality field, make it more professional. And there were a couple of guys from Bahrain, because Bahrain is run by a monarchy who have a lot of money from oil, and they're paying these Kenyans to come and become Bahraini citizens. They live there for a bit. They say, oh, Lord, if you're a citizen now, and that's it. And as long as the international influence gets to that first. So he came to a Bahrain guy who's actually Kenyan, doesn't even live in Bahrain, he trains in Kenya. Yeah, so he came to Israel, and he won the marathon. And he said, I'm very proud and happy to come to Israel. I'm within Israel, and I think it's great. They do this, and Israel's a great country. And I think everyone should stray for peace. Well, I reported this. It was picked up by the AP. The guy lost his citizenship, and he was chucked out.
Oh, God, Jeremy!
It was my fault. I felt awful about the whole thing. His family apparently were persecuted, so there is an idea there, and it's different to Poland. But really, the idea of giving up your country, I mean, they're being paid to do it. My mates is doing it towards playing the big championships, but I mean, turning your back on your own heritage, it's not going to make you feel very good about your own country. I mean, what do you think about it?
Well, look, as you were just doing your job, you don't have to feel bad that some guy lost his citizenship.
It's not about doing the job, it's a national pride thing, Craig.
Yeah, so don't, whatever. I hope you're able to sleep at night. I mean, that would bother me if you couldn't do that.
Where are your grandparents?
Well, actually, my family's been in the United States for about 100 years, so their grandparents all grew up in the States.
My grandfather's from Poland. I'm Poland.
Yeah, now most people, a lot of people in Israel actually are in that situation. Their grandparents are from Europe, but you have a lot of grandparents that are Holocaust survivors, too.
It's funny, there's another thing with my mates in Krakow, his ex-Vardy, his name is Dubu Biton. And he's played all sorts of clubs in Israel, and he's rubbish. And somebody had a good season last season at Pulpit and picked all places. Terrible club that got relegated. And he moved to Wisla Krakow in the summer, and he's just banging the goals, and he scored 2 again today, 2 in the weekend. But there's no chance he didn't play for Poland, no joke on the radio. It'd have to be called Dudu Bitonski, or Bitonivski, or something. to play
is his nickname Dudu, or is that the actual name? Because I know that Dudu's a nickname for David.
Dudu's a nickname for someone called David.
For David, right, okay, yeah, just making sure about that. Jeremy, let's talk about Maccabi Tel Aviv. So far, obviously, they've made a lot of headlines by getting Jordan Farmer, also the man that won the college championship a few years ago with Duke, John Shire. So talk about their impact on the team so far.
Well, so far, they haven't played yet.
Right, but in practice, or just how the teammates feel about having them on?
Well, the thing was that Israel was in the European Championships. Rubbish, won maybe 2 games, I can't remember. So Maccabi only started training with the full squad a couple of weeks ago. But yeah, I mean, it's not so much about how it's going now. I had a practice game tonight, I think in France. I don't know what happened, I haven't even checked. Not so important, but I think the potential's there. It's going to be a very, very interesting season for Maccabi Tel Aviv. For the first time in, I think, since 2001, they've returned to what's called the Adriatic League. They're playing in 3 completely separate competitions at the same time. The local League Up the Premier League, the Basketball Super League here. The EuroLeague, like they were before they came around us up last season. And this Adriatic League. So they'll be playing 3 times a week, every week for the whole of the season. It's going to be, I know in the NBA that's normal, but in Israel it's a big, big strain. It's big enough to play twice a week every week. So it's going to be interesting. More games that people can go to, because it's very difficult to get tickets to Tel Aviv, and people love watching them. But the squad they've got is very, very exciting because they were good last year. I'm just the idea of adding a player or two, but to bring Jordan Farmer, who's a genuine NBA player, and also John Shire, who has potential, and obviously he was outstanding at Duke, and Coach K speaks so highly of him. But it's just going to raise the bar, and there's all sorts of other players going on there, and brought some new ones in, and Hendricks and so on is still there. Derek Sharp retired, but they've got a strong team, and it's going to be very exciting. I highly recommend if people were in Israel to try and get tickets for a game. The atmosphere is not a league game, but I guess the Adriatic League being the Euro League games is very exciting down there in Nokia Arena. But
now I know they talked about. No, go ahead, Jeremy.
No, I mean, it's interesting. It seems like a much stronger team last year, but it's also a question of how many other NBA players. I don't really know. I don't think that many are going to other European teams. They're talking about Caspi and Parker going to the team in France, but I don't think that's happened at all. I mean, there were a few, Deron Williams and a couple others went to Besiktas and other parts in Turkey, but I mean, I'm talking about in China. What's going on with all that? I'm not sure, but I mean, if the European teams don't build up to this level that Maccabi have already raised themselves up to, it's going to be very exciting to see how far they can go. What is the situation about NBA players signing for teams abroad until the lockout ends?
Well, I got to tell you, I think at the end of the day, there's not going to be a season at all whatsoever. And
but what's happening now? I don't really know.
You have that. All these players are realizing that and they're jumping ship. You had Kenyon Martin is signing with the team in China. So it's just going on and on and on. Dwayne Wade was in talks.
And there many going to Europe?
Oh, they're going all over the place. Going China, Hong Kong, Turkey, Europe, obviously as well. My opinion is that this is exactly what David Stern wants. He's talked about globalizing the league, making this a world sport, and he's getting his wish because these players will develop fan bases throughout the whole world.
Yes, brilliant.
And
I think he's right, David Stern.
He's a genius.
I don't disagree with David Stern. I don't think that he's being cynical, perhaps, but it's a good move at the end of the day because, the idea of having a team in London is, I think, preposterous. So I don't think people give a shit about it. Sorry, I'm interested at all in basketball in London, but in other places, maybe like especially in Eastern Europe, it's very, very popular. Spain, it's very popular. Even though it's not considered important by most people, the league is actually very popular. So I think it'll be a very interesting season this season.
No, I think it's great. I definitely don't think in the long term it'll work. Short term, it's going to kind of suck for us NBA fans who are looking forward to a season. And last season had a great NBA Finals between two teams that you kind of either loved the Miami Heat or you hated them. So it was the highest rated NBA Finals since Michael Jordan played in the in 1998 in the NBA Finals against the Jazz.
I'm a big LeBron fan, and I think that.
Well, LeBron's a very polarizing figure.
I think they did as well as you could have hoped. People were expecting them to fare a lot worse, especially at the beginning of the season. They didn't do that well, and I think that whole Miami Heat project was very criticised, and people criticising James for not going with maybe a smaller team, and this thing of looking like he's not the number one, so Dwayne Wade and maybe even Chris Bosh. But now, I think that there could be a legendary team, and it's interesting when you look at the sneakers, because Michael Jordan won his first title, I think, in his 6th or 7th year, right?
In his 7th year, yes. He was 28 years old.
So if you look at the Jordan 7s, and they're associated with him winning his first championship. And now LeBron's just bringing out in a couple of weeks his LeBron 9s. So he hasn't won a championship, and he's coming up to his 9th season. I think I'm very into sneakers, especially LeBron's and Jordan shoes. So I think it's very interesting.
Now, Jeremy, last question before I let you go. Big fight last month of Shabbat, Floyd Mayweather versus Victor Ortiz, and we know you're a big boxing fan, so what did you think of that fight?
I didn't see it.
Oh, shucks. That's a shock. What a surprise. Well, Floyd won in the end of the 4th round. Actually, Victor Ortiz put his hands down. He went to hug him because he was apologizing for something, and Floyd took that opportunity to throw a left hook and then a right cross, and down went Ortiz.
Oh, that's good. Well done.
Yes, absolutely.
How's the NFL? How are my Raiders doing? I like the Raiders because of the uniforms.
You like the Raiders because of the uniforms?
Game, I was very excited, yeah.
Well, Al Davis is one of the polarizing figures in all of sports.
It's crazy.
Yeah, he's not liked.
This season, they won the first game, and they won since.
Well, they lost last weekend, but they're first place in the West anyways at 1-1.
Have they only played 2 games?
They only played 2 games. There's only been
first place with 1-1, has it? If they've won 1 and lost 1, didn't they lose the team they beat them also won 1 and lost 1?
Well, what happened was they only played 2 games so far. The Raiders won. I'm going to double check who they beat. The Chargers are also 1-1, so they're tied for first place. The Raiders, their first game, they beat Denver by 3 points, and then they lost to the Bills.
It's really that impressive to be top of the division after 2 games.
And they lost to Buffalo by 3 points. So far it's kind of an even season for the Oakland Raiders.
Good stuff.
But they're playing the Jets. They're playing the. Well, I'll tell you, they're playing the Jets this Sunday, and that's going to be a very tough game. I think they're going to lose that game. That will not be easy.
I have to watch it. It's been funny. I've seen that Channel 5 Sports Live, Channel 5, the sports channel, taking a game every week. I don't think Americans have the sports channels. Don't anyone watches it.
Yeah, I don't really know who watches these Raiders. I know Yona Mashan's a big Raiders fan, but I don't know outside of... Well, the Raiders have a kind of a cult following. Even if they're not so good, people will go to the games and watch anyways.
Yeah.
All right, Jeremy, my man, we got to take a commercial, but thank you so much, Jeremy Last, current Associated Press writer, former sports editor of the Jerusalem Post, for being on Louis Live tonight.
Bye.
All right, peace. Wow, first of all, whoever's listening out there, I don't know if anybody is, but I don't know if anybody's understood Jeremy. But Jeremy was on just now for about 18 minutes, 17, 18 minutes, and I asked maybe 4 or 5 questions. So Jeremy Last, he's our favorite knucklehead. We love him. He's the host of The Last Word on this program on the station, I should say, and we love to keep up with Jeremy, follow his antics, deal with his crazy rants and his thoughts, and very honest man. Yeah, you can say whatever you want about Jeremy Last. You can say he does this, does that, says this, says that. He doesn't lie to you. He says whatever is on his mind, and there you have it. I mean, he said everything was. He felt like talking about the Raiders all of a sudden. He was in a weird place with his phone. He mentioned that to the audience instead of just kind of keeping quiet about it. I talked about his thoughts on the NBA players moving from place to place, called David Stern egotistical or something. He had some name for them. We went on random tangents about where our grandparents grew up and our ancestors. So had a little bit of everything from Jeremy Last. If you think that we're simply a sports show, well, you're simply mistaken. Coming up next, from the Washington Examiner, discussing the business side of sports. And believe me, there's a lot of business going on in the past couple of weeks in the world of sports. We will get into the movie Moneyball with our good friend in about 6 minutes from now, Jim Williams. Let's take a break and be back on Louis Live on Israel Sports Radio right after this. Are you having computer issues? You just got to try these guys. Tiger Computer Services, 050-708-1599. All of Jerusalem is talking about them. They're super experienced, efficient, reliable, and honest. Their lead technician has over 20 years experience and holds a BS in computer science from a top American university. Mickey from Macavia says, I will let anybody touch my computers except for Tiger. So call Tiger Computer Services, 050-708-1599. Believe me, you'll be happy that you did. Ruben from Baca says, I've had many technicians in the past, and these guys are some of the best I've seen. Laptops, desktops, netbooks, Macintoshes, iPods, iPhones. All hardware and software problems, advice, and instruction. The next time you need a very experienced and honest computer technician, call Tiger Computer Services at 050-708-1599. Mention Israel Sports Radio for a 15% discount for all new customers. Are you living in the Tel Aviv area and looking to achieve those fitness goals that seem out of reach? If so, personal trainer Leon Kessler is just one call away. Leon will teach, coach, advise, supervise, and support you so that you are able to accomplish your fitness goals. One call to 050-792-2434 will put your goals in reach. That's 050-792-2434, or click on the Leon Kessler banner on the Israel Sports Radio website and see what Leon can do for you.
Midrashat Devorah, a Dati Leumi post-high school program which educates minds and broadens horizons. Located in Baca, the lovely Jerusalem neighborhood provides an excellent background and setting for a tremendous education. Our students learn, love, and feel the land of Israel and get tools which will last them a lifetime. Generous scholarships are available. Please contact us at midreshetavora.org. Call us from Israel at 052-534-6260 or from North America at 718-593-4162. Midreshet Devora, we're the program you've been waiting for.
DJ Venom. DJ Venom. DJ Venom. DJing parties throughout Israel. Birthday parties, weddings, club events, bar mitzvahs, bat mitzvahs, and much more. You pick the type of music and DJ Venom will turn your event to the party of the year. Available Sunday through Thursday. Call 052-952-6506 or email djvenom1984@yahoo.com. That's 052-952-6506 or email djvenom1984@yahoo.com. Book your party today. That's DJ Venom.
Offering the best of Israel at the best price, Shalom Israel Tours can help you make your next trip to Israel the adventure of a lifetime. Shalom Israel Tours will customize a trip to Israel for your family or group. Specializing in bar mitzvah packages, outdoor adventure vacations, wine tours, and more, Shalom Israel Tours is sure to inspire. So whether you're looking for a customized trip, a day tour, or a car rental, Shalom Israel Tours is here to help. Email us at inspire@shalomisraeltours.com or click the banner on the Israel Sports Radio homepage, and soon you will find yourself in Israel. That's Shalom Israel Tours, www.shalomisraeltours.com.
Are you ready to get serious about your health and fitness? iFit trainers provide one-on-one personal training and put together the best fitness program to get the right results for you. Find your I in Fit. We offer certified personal trainers with elite athletic experience and flexible hours at the convenience of your own home. Classes are offered in English and in Hebrew. We serve Jerusalem and the surrounding areas. For more information and to schedule your first workout session, call Alyssa at 054-759-7280 or email Alyssa, ELISSA, at i-fit.co.il. Visit us at www.i-fit.co.il or click on the iFit banner on the Israel Sports Radio homepage.
Feeling overwhelmed with all you have to do? Let your personal shopper help. Chani is an experienced gift shopper and can help free up your day. Chani can assist you in finding the perfect gift for your upcoming simchas or pick up those light items at the grocery. And don't forget, if you are in the area of the Israel Center on Karen HaYesod, stop by on Monday or Tuesday between 8:30 a.m. and 12:30 p.m. to check out all the great gifts Chani has to offer. For more information, call 02-654-2155 or email chani@netvision.net.il. Don't forget to check out her great website at www.chanisgifts.com.
Israel Sports Dynamic specializes in football consulting, equipment, uniforms, and more. Great brands such as Nike, Russell Athletics, Shutt Sports Products, and many more. Just one call away. With over 30 years coaching experience with university and professional athletes, Terry Hill, owner of ISD, can advise you for all your sports needs. Call 054-581-3248. That's 054-581-3248 or visit our website at www.isdisrael.com. If that's not easy enough, click on the ISD banner on the Israel Sports Radio website and be part of the game.
Feeling overwhelmed with all you have to do? Let your personal shopper help. Chani is an experienced gift shopper and can help free up your day. Chani can assist you in finding the perfect gift for your upcoming simchas or pick up those light items at the grocery. And don't forget, if you are in the area of the Israel Center on Karen HaYesod, stop by on Monday or Tuesday between 8:30 a.m. and 12:30 p.m. to check out all the great gifts Chani has to offer. For more information, call 02-654-2155 or email chani@netvision.net.il. Don't forget to check out her great website at www.chanisgifts.com.
Dan Ruby, a walk-on senior, subject of a feature article in yesterday's student newspaper, The Observer, after toiling for 2 years and partying in the field and go get it, kid!
Isn't that touching? It gives me goosebumps every time I see it. You have the old man janitor that never got a chance to play because he quit. Rudy comes out with the sack. Actually, the movie is pretty realistic to real life. That he did train. Most of that was pretty real. He was carried off the field. That was real. He got the sack. Now, in real life, it was a two-man sack. But whatever. Okay, it's Hollywood. Not bad. Good movie. And part of the reason I bring this up is because we're going to discuss a big sports movie coming up this weekend with our main man discussing the business side of sports from the Washington Examiner, Jim Williams. Jim, how you doing today?
I'm very well, thank you. I apologize for being late today.
No problem. We were more than happy to play that clip from Rudy because that was a great sports movie. I still watch that all the time, and a great sports movie potentially. I mean, I haven't seen it yet. We'll see what comes up. But Moneyball, great tie-in with our conversation about business. Brad Pitt gets the lead role as Billy Beane. That book was an excellent book. I highly recommend everyone to check it out. If you're a big baseball fan or sports fan or business fan, got to check out that book. So initially, give me your thoughts about the movie Moneyball. And I don't know if you're a big Brad Pitt fan or not, but what do you think about it?
Well, I mean, I got to tell you, I've known Billy Beane, and Billy Beane hit the jackpot by getting Brad Pitt to play him. I mean, there's no question about that.
That's a great point.
There could not be two more different human beings on this planet than Billy Beane and Brad Pitt. But
well, me and Andy joke when Israel Sports Radio. I mean, it's already in a very high place, and it's great. But when it takes off even more, we've discussed who's going to play us in the movie, and Andy is insistent on Bill Clinton playing him, and for me, I've wanted Danny Bonaducci.
Bill Clinton?
Yeah, he said he's got a thing because a lot of people thought he looks like Bill Clinton, at least in the 90s. So he wants Bill Clinton to play him in the movie, and I voted for Danny Bonaducci to play myself. So we'll see what happens.
Well, there's a yin and yang situation.
Absolutely.
No, I'm quite sure that the interesting part to this is that there are going to be a lot of people who are not into baseball.
That are going to watch the movie.
They come and watch this film.
Right.
In large part because of Brad Pitt. The story is very Jerry Maguire type situation. I've actually seen the film, and
you got to watch it already?
Yeah, I got a preview of the film.
Nice.
And so it's really, I don't want to give away. Well, you know how it ends. It's pretty much, it ends with Billy Beane staying in Oakland, but the concept is basically how geeks became, relevant in baseball.
I like that.
And Billy, basically is a guy who was really, hanging on for dear life, and it's how the cybermetrics portion of baseball became a reality, and how basically, these guys who knew very little about baseball, couldn't play baseball as kids, became very relevant to how baseball is run, almost to the point now when back in the day, of course, we had games where Bob Gibson would face a Don Drysdale, and they'd pitch 14 innings into a game, and they'd still be starting. Today we have pitch counts. We have every type of cybermetrics that's used that decides whether you pitch to a right-handed batter or a left-handed batter, and what your variables are on all of this. So all of that cybermetrics that Billy Beane and the crazy people out there in Oakland hatched, and it was then developed and refined as it filtered through baseball, is pretty much chronicled in the film. And I will say this: it's a very fun movie. You don't have to be a baseball fan to like it. It's there's a lot of inside baseball. There's a lot of guys who you'll recognize who are in the film, who played baseball, and they're now involved in the film as players supposedly during the day, and there's a lot of good people who were involved in working with the folks to try to keep it as real as possible, but at the same time, let's face it, we all want to be entertained, and trust me, when you get into a room and start talking cybermetrics with people, it isn't exciting. And
right.
So, anything you can do to help, and Brad Pitt certainly isn't a bad thing to help in that regard, is going to make it work. But it's a very compelling, funny, and very entertaining story about how truly the geeks took over baseball.
You know, I feel like that we're working for the movie almost at this point because I've been telling the audience to go out and see it. I have not seen a movie in a theater in a while, but I'm definitely going to check this one out. How close is the movie to real life and what really happened?
Oh, boy, that's really... they take some liberties. I mean, depending upon who tells the story, I guess is how, there's 5 different people who tell the story. I talked to F.P. Santangelo, who lived, he played for the A's at that point in time, and knows Billy very well, and asked him about it. And F.P. said, look, I don't really want to see the movie. I said, why? He goes, I lived it, I know how it ends. But everybody around baseball is laughing about Billy being played by Brad Pitt. But the real essence of the cybermetrics of baseball is really true. I mean, the story is a little, the story's dressed up.
It's Hollywood.
But the truth of how the cybermetrics work in baseball is they're very true to that.
You know, one of the things I remember with the book that I found interesting, I don't know if I had this completely down, but he talks about the concept of an error and that how an error is somewhat of a misnomer. They look at it as a bad thing generally in baseball life, baseball thought, but he said that an error indicates a player making a play on the ball. Obviously the walk, he's very, very high in the walk. It shows a man gets on base. What were some of the things that you personally thought he added to the game that you were like, wow, I never looked at it in that direction, and that truly changed how people think of the game even, obviously till today?
I think that the biggest takeaway from this, from cybermetrics, is that the worst thing you can be is a strikeout pitcher.
Interesting.
Wow. I actually talked to Steven Strasburg about this. And Strasburg said that what he was taught, was obviously to pitch and to try to strike everybody out. And only after he talked to his manager in college, who happened to be Tony Gwynn, which is not a bad manager to have.
It's pretty good.
Tony brought in Oral Hershiser, and Hershiser, who had been obviously a star into himself with the Los Angeles Dodgers. Hershiser began to talk to Strasburg about pitch count and how if you were a pitcher of Strasburg's ability or, an elite pitcher like basically anybody on the Philly staff or someone, pick a guy. Justin Verlander would be a good one. That basically, if you look at the 9 guys that you're going to face on a roster, 6 of those guys automatically aren't going to be able to get a hit off of you. The other 3 are guys you're going to have to pitch to. And so you pitch to spots. And the spot being to try to get them to hit your pitch either on the ground or in the air or break the bat, and basically saying, all right, you can get out of an inning in 7 pitches if they're the right 7 pitches. And, you don't, some guys, if you want to try to strike them out, fine, if you get to that point. But for the most part, the goal is to try to get your pitch count down by getting batters to hit your pitch.
See, I like
that. To me, that was the biggest takeaway because that shows that that was something that Greg Maddux and, some of the guys on the Braves team, Steve Avery, some of those guys, during the Tommy Glavine did so well during the heyday of the Braves was they didn't throw the ball 95 miles an hour, but they made you hit their pitch. And that was what Hershiser was talking about was, the cybermetrics was realizing that you could get to a pitch count of 100 and still easily complete a baseball game if you had the batter hit your pitch, not his pitch.
I like that a lot because one of the things the movie talks about, Billy Beane has that funny scene in the preview, of course Brad Pitt's playing him, where he's about to go out to the field and then turns right, and they say, hey, where are you going? He says, I don't watch the games. And I remember very vividly in the book that he did that on purpose because he did not want to get caught up with a player liking him as a fan would, because that would distract from stats and looking at more as a mathematical pattern. And I think what fans sometimes do is a mistake with the strikeout pitcher says, yeah, we like that looks good, that looks sexy, it strikes him out, that's awesome. But you forget that, well, that increases the pitch count, and then because he keeps striking people out, might not be able to get into the 7th inning, you leave it to the bullpen, who knows what happens. But a guy like a Greg Maddux or an Avery can finish a game, and that's one of those things where the fan mentality has got to go out, and you look at things more robotically, almost like a computer.
Right. I mean, I mean, as I said before, the goal is you have to put it in your head that you're going to throw your pitch at your, or that person hits your pitch, and if you look at the good pitchers, yeah, they're going to get strikeouts. I mean, obviously, you're going to get into a count where it makes sense to just go ahead and finish the person off. But if you can get a guy to, bloop, a broken bat pop up into the infield because he's swinging at your pitch, which is above his, which is above the letters because you just fooled him into it. Or if you get a guy, if you can locate a ball at 92 miles an hour on the lower part of the plate, the guy's going to ground the ball into, hopefully a double play. You're going to, get in and out of innings a lot faster and a lot more efficient than if you are running counts. Even if you're ahead in the count, you're still going to. It still takes 3 to 4 pitches to get a guy to strike a guy out. You strike out, even if you strike out the side, you're ending up, at 14, 15, maybe even 20 pitches in an inning.
Right, absolutely. Now, staying with the money theme, big money event over the weekend. Floyd Money Mayweather knocks out Victor Ortiz in the 4th round, very controversial fashion. Looks like at the end of the day he'll get somewhere about $35 million. I want to know from your perspective, this is the biggest money event of the year as far as, obviously not a Super Bowl or March Madness, but a single event for an hour, the biggest money event in the sports world for the year. It ends in a weird way with Victor Ortiz not putting up his hands, Floyd knocking him out. Talk about that from a fan's perspective. If you're shelling out $60, are you happy seeing 4 rounds of pretty competitive action and then kind of a weird ending?
No, but that's boxing.
That's true.
I've spent $50 on a pay-per-view fight that lasted 49 seconds.
Right.
So it is what it is. It's the nature of the sport. I think that in large part, it's what killed the sport. The heavy-duty pay-per-view keeps the top fighting away from the vast majority of the public. And yes, it makes there's no question that a single payday of $35 million for one person is no question the best way to go when you're an athlete. I mean, you obviously he's trained for that fight. Obviously he wins, but in one single day, that's the biggest paycheck you're gonna cash as an athlete. But as a fan, let's face it, on a worldwide take, they're not even going to come close to the ratings of what a normal NFL game or a normal UEFA league soccer match is seen on locally in a region. So worldwide, people do not get to see Mayweather fight. So they only know of Mayweather from what they read in newspaper accounts or hear from friends who actually saw the fight on pay-per-view. It does a tremendous disservice to the sport, and it killed the sport as far as mass appeal in this country and perhaps on a worldwide basis.
Now, I want to go to the National Football League. Interesting story where Tom Brady admits that he sometimes lies to the press. He kind of had a weird comment before last weekend's ball game where he encouraged fans to come out to Gillette Stadium and drink, get there early and drink. Later on, they kind of had to cover up and say that, oh, he didn't mean alkaline water, but the story is coming out, whatever that means, I'm sure.
Yeah, sure, that's exactly what he meant.
Yeah, come out to the parking lot, grill a hot dog, drink some nice glass of water. But he talks about sometimes lying to the press to avoid controversy. What do you make of that? Now, obviously, athletes have to give cliches to avoid the press being on them or on their teammates. Tom generally seems like a pretty straightforward, honest guy, kind of shoot the breeze type of guy. So what do you make of all this, that he's honest about the fact that he sometimes is not honest?
Well, I mean, look, as someone who's covered a lot of different sports, I'm not sure. Look, we never know athletes, okay? We truly don't. We think we do. You're around them all the time. You really don't. You get the facade that they put out there, and I don't know Tom Brady other than to interview Tom Brady, and he looks like a nice guy. He seems like a nice guy. I truly don't know him, nor do I know most of the other people that I interview. I'm assuming when I interview them, they're telling me what they want me to hear. I do not ever assume they're being honest with me.
Interesting. Okay.
I assume they're telling me what they want to hear. Now, does that mean do I think that they're lying to me? No. I assume that they're. I can couch a question in 100 different ways. The answer is going to be what that person wants me to hear at that particular time, and that may very well be an honest answer, but it also may very well be just a pat answer that they want me to print in the paper. I think athletes are very smart. They're very savvy. They want you to hear what they want to tell you. And sometimes you get guys like Ocho Cinco who will shoot totally from the hip. Sometimes you got guys like Ray Louis, who is a very emotional guy, who's going to, talk to you in a very passionate, very, almost platitudes that he gives out. Each athlete you deal with, gives you what their specific feeling is under the circumstances, and sometimes, your takeaway from it is that's the truth, and to them it may very well be, but is it the total truth? I don't know. Objective situation when you deal with players or politicians or anyone who has to speak on a daily basis with the public.
All right, and moving to Major League Baseball, I want to get your opinion up of this, about the potential possibility of Justin Verlander winning the Most Valuable Player award in the American League. 24 wins. He's got the pitcher's triple crown. I'm sure it's going to end up that way. Tigers are first place in their division. Verlander a big part of that. Obviously, Curtis Granderson has a very strong argument, Adrian Gonzalez. But what do you think? We haven't seen a pitcher win the MVP since 1992 when Dennis Eckersley won it. Andy will tell you that Pedro Martinez most likely deserved it in 1999 for the Sox. A lot of people think that. But nevertheless, it's been 19 years since that's happened. What do you think are the chances and the odds of Justin Verlander pulling that off this season?
I think it's very slim. I think that baseball writers are prone to give the Cy Young away, but not the Cy Young and the MVP. I think that you could make a case on that team. Certainly, Verlander deserves very strong consideration. But if you look at an MVP candidate, you've got to look at Cabrera on that Detroit team.
Great point.
If you don't have Cabrera hitting, Justin Verlander is fantastic. Do not get me wrong, but Justin Verlander doesn't play every day, and Cabrera does. And without Cabrera getting the clutch hits and hitting, and being amongst the top players in the league, does that Detroit team get as far as they do? Certainly, the combination of Justin Verlander and Cabrera are the reason that they've won the division, and frankly, that they may very well be at this juncture the best team in the American League. Certainly, the way down, that they've been playing, Detroit's playing very well and could very well go into the playoffs as the last team you want to see facing you at this juncture.
Well, absolutely, because you're going to see Justin Verlander 2 times in a 5-game series. That's 40% of the time. And, of course, you get Miguel Cabrera, and they have a pretty good manager, Jim Leland. He's kind of been there, done that. So, dangerous team, scary team to face in the postseason.
Well, Jim Leland, of course, has won the World Series.
Right.
And he's taken 2 teams to the World Series. So he definitely has the credibility to do it, and is a pretty savvy, old school manager who understands the game. And I think that I do like the chances, and I think a lot of people, the kid Pfister, who they picked up in the trade during just before the trade deadline, I think that people they really don't. He's somewhat devalued. They don't look at this guy and say, "Wait a minute, this guy, is worthy of consideration." But he's become a strong number 2 starter for them, and I think that Pfister is somebody who, as they play things out in the playoffs, is someone that you should watch.
All right, Jim, last question for the evening. Apparently today, some representatives of the NBA Players Union and agents kind of got together. There's a small meeting held. What do you know of the meeting? We know Billy Hunter was there. Derek Fisher, president of the Players Association, was there. What's going on with that meeting, and are we getting closer to potentially having a season?
I don't think so. I think that what they talked about was what their options are. I think that there has been some discussion of the possible decertification of the union like the National Football League did. There are downsides to that because the recertification of the union could take months if they had to do that. I think they're basically looking at what are our scenarios at this point? What can we do? You have it coming in within the last week. We even had Kobe saying he is continuing to field offers and become far more serious about playing in Europe. I do think that everybody's looking at their options because they realize that the season isn't going to start on time, and now it's not a matter of how long. If there's going to be a lockout that stops the beginning of the season. I think that's
all
going to happen. I think what we're looking at now is, are we going to have any kind of season?
Right. Absolutely.
At this point.
All right, Jim, thank you so much for being on. In addition to wishing you a Shabbat Shalom, of course, next week is Rosh Hashanah, so we won't have you on,
right.
But I got to wish you a Shana Tova and all the best, of course, to you and your family.
And to you and everyone who listens out there. It's a tremendous opportunity and honor to be on the show, and I'm more than just very pleased to be here because we have such good talk and such good conversation with you guys, and I know that people out there are great sports fans, and it's just a pleasure to be able to chat to you and the wonderful audience there, and I wish them a very happy and a very healthy New Year, and Shana Tova to you and to your family, and Shabbat Shalom, and we'll pick it back up after that time, and I scold former Southeastern Conference Commissioner and former United States Olympic Committee Chairman Harvey Schiller for making me late. I apologize on that one.
Well, you know what? That's a good reason to be late. I mean, you got to make. It's hard in this business to make everybody happy, but he sounds like a pretty important individual, and we're happy.
Harvey's a nice man, and he's kind enough to do a story that's coming out on Sunday about how Texas almost became part of the Southeastern Conference.
Wow. Whew. That's a huge story. Everyone should go check that out. Jim Williams from the Washington Examiner, thank you so much for being on Louis Live tonight.
All right. Have a good one, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.
Be well. It was Jim from the Washington Examiner, and sorry I paused for a moment. I was just, it's really crazy to think about. We have the new year coming and approaching and coming to us. And a year ago, we were not on the air. Israel Sports Radio existed as a website, but it was not on the quote-unquote internet airwaves a year ago. And look what we've done in this year. And I'll talk more about that next week, kind of do a little bit of a year to review. Jim Rome does that at the end of his year. So we'll talk a little bit about some of the great things we've done, great interviews we've had. It's just been a tremendous amount of fun. I realized that, Jim Williams. I get to know Jim Williams, and I didn't know him last year. And sometimes with the Rosh Hashanah, when it comes, you look back to the previous Rosh Hashanah and look at everything in between. So always a pleasure to have Jim Williams from the Washington Examiner on. We're going to take a commercial break. When we come back, musician Neshama Karabach right after this.
Offering the best of Israel at the best price, Shalom Israel Tours can help you make your next trip to Israel the adventure of a lifetime. Shalom Israel Tours will customize a trip to Israel for your family or group. Specializing in bar mitzvah packages, outdoor adventure vacations, wine tours, and more, Shalom Israel Tours is sure to inspire. So whether you're looking for a customized trip, a day tour, or a car rental, Shalom Israel Tours is here to help. Email us at inspire@shalomisraeltours.com or click the banner on the Israel Sports Radio homepage, and soon you will find yourself in Israel. That's Shalom Israel Tours, www.shalomisraeltours.com.
Are you ready to get serious about your health and fitness? iFit trainers provide one-on-one personal training and put together the best fitness program to get the right results for you. Find your I in FIT. We offer certified personal trainers with elite athletic experience and flexible hours at the convenience of your own home. Classes are offered in English and in Hebrew. We serve Jerusalem and the surrounding areas. For more information and to schedule your first workout session, call Alyssa at 054-759-7280 or email Alyssa, ELISSA, at i-fit.co.il. Visit us at www.i-fit.co.il or click on the iFit banner on the Israel Sports Radio homepage.
Feeling overwhelmed with all you have to do? Let your personal shopper help. Chani is an experienced gift shopper and can help free up your day. Chani can assist you in finding the perfect gift for your upcoming simchas or pick up those light items at the grocery. And don't forget, if you are in the area of the Israel Center on Karen HaYesod, stop by on Monday or Tuesday between 8:30 a.m. and 12:30 p.m. to check out all the great gifts Chani has to offer. For more information, call 02-654-2155 or email chani@netvision.net.il. Don't forget to check out her great website at www.chanisgifts.com.
Israel Sports Dynamics specializes in football consulting, equipment, uniforms, and more. Great brands such as Nike, Russell Athletics, Shutt Sports Products, and many more. Just one call away. With over 30 years coaching experience with university and professional athletes, Terry Hill, owner of ISD, can advise you for all your sports needs. Call 054-581-3248. That's 054-581-3248 or visit our website at www.isdisrael.com. If that's not easy enough, click on the ISD banner on the Israel Sports Radio website and be part of the game.
Are you having computer issues? You just got to try these guys. Tiger Computer Services, 050-708-1599. All of Jerusalem is talking about them. They're super experienced, efficient, reliable, and honest. Their lead technician has over 20 years experience and holds a BS in computer science from a top American university. Mickey from Macavia says, I won't let anybody touch my computers except for Tiger. So call Tiger Computer Services, 050-708-1599. Believe me, you'll be happy that you did. Ruben from Baca says, I've had many technicians in the past, and these guys are some of the best I've seen. Laptops, desktops, netbooks, Macintoshes, iPods, iPhones. All hardware and software problems, advice, and instruction. The next time you need a very experienced and honest computer technician, call Tiger Computer Services at 050-708-1599. Mention Israel Sports Radio for a 15% discount for all new customers. Are you living in the Tel Aviv area and looking to achieve those fitness goals that seem out of reach? If so, personal trainer Leon Kessler is just one call away. Leon will teach, coach, advise, supervise, and support you so that you are able to accomplish your fitness goals. One call is 050-792-2434 will put your goals in reach. That's 050-792-2434 or click on the Leon Kessler banner on the Israel Sports Radio website and see what Leon can do for you.
Midreshet Devorah, a Dati Leumi post-high school program which educates minds and broadens horizons. Located in Baca, the lovely Jerusalem neighborhood provides an excellent background and setting for a tremendous education. Our students learn, love, and feel the land of Israel and get tools which will last them a lifetime. Generous scholarships are available. Please contact us at midreshetdevora.org. Call us from Israel at 052-534-6260 or from North America at 718-593-4162. Midreshet Devora, we're the program you've been waiting for.
DJ Venom, DJ Venom, DJ Venom, DJing parties throughout Israel, birthday parties, weddings, club events, bar mitzvahs, bat mitzvahs, and much more. You pick the type of music and DJ Venom will turn your event into the party of the year. Available Sunday through Thursday. Call 052-952-6506 or email djvenom1984@yahoo.com. That's 052-952-6506 or email djvenom1984@yahoo.com. Book your party today. That's DJ Venom.
Back here on Louis Live, and our thanks again to Jim Williams from the Washington Examiner. On the line right now, it's truly an honor and privilege to have this very talented musician on with us, and that would be Neshama Karbach. Neshama, how are you doing today?
I'm awesome. How are you?
Doing great, Baruch Hashem. And first thing I got to ask you, you're in New York right now, and what's it like weather-wise, scene, mood, everything? Obviously, September 11th was a week and a couple of days ago. So what is the mood right now in New York City?
Well, at this moment, I'm in traffic. I'm driving, and it's a kind of a gray, sad-looking day. And it's one of those days that you kind of don't want to move.
Wow.
And it's funny that always the weather is reflected in New York. You know, when it's gray outside, you feel really gray everywhere. And it's definitely not as beautiful as Israel, I am sure. I would ask you what the scene is around you, but I don't want to be jealous.
Well, I'm inside the studio. I can't see it right now, but on the way to the studio it was a very much a picture perfect night. The weather at night, even in the summers, is nice and cool, nice cool breeze, and not a lot of clouds. So yeah, I guess you do have something to be jealous over.
Wow.
But you're kind of, the fans obviously want to know when are you coming back to Israel? How much longer will you be in the States?
You mean to live or to visit?
Visit, live, whatever. Fans want to know.
Whatever. To visit, I hope soon. To live, I don't think that's happening right now.
Okay, so right now the plan is to be in the States, but when you visit, I'm sure you plan on. I shouldn't say sure because it could come just for personal reasons, family vacation. But when I should say you visit, would you put on some type of concert for the fans?
Yes, absolutely. We were there in June, and it was a magnificent time. And for any of you who want to be in touch with me, any of you out there, first of all, I love you. Anyone out there wants to be in touch with me, neshamakarlibach.com, just my website. You can sign up for my mailing list, and you'll get announcements about when I'm coming, when I'm coming back and where we're touring in general. And yes, singing in Israel is always just a fantastic honor and a huge thrill for me. So thank you for asking and for welcoming me.
Absolutely.
Always.
And in that concert of the summer, you got to perform in front of some pretty famous people. I believe Bibi was there. Talk about what it's like to perform in front of influential people or famous people. And obviously, you love all your fans, but when you are around someone like Netanyahu or someone else, do you get a little nervous, or is it just kind of, hey, I've been there, done that, I know how to do this?
It's never a been there, done that for me because it's always a very special experience. I don't sing because I feel like I want people to look at me, and I don't sing for the sake of entertainment value. I sing because I feel like I have something to give, and I hope I have something to give. And I sing because I feel like the world is ready for the healing that can come from my music. And so I'm always a little bit nervous, whether it's in front of 20 people in a living room or 1,000 people in a big theater, whether it's quote-unquote influential people or, quote-unquote regular people. I feel like everyone is influential, so it almost doesn't really matter. There's always a feeling that I have inside of me that I hope that I give over the right thing. I hope that I can be a vessel for godliness and for truth, and that people who come to my concerts can leave feeling more hopeful and more transformed in their lives. So it's never been there, done that. It's always incredible, and it's always a learning experience for me.
See, it's very interesting you say that because I recall Frank Sinatra talk about that he would get stage fright, or I don't want to say that he has stage fright, but that he would use more the term nervous even after performing so many concerts and for so long, and he looked at every time as a new experience. So I guess with music, it's a special power that even if you've done it for 20, 30 years, every time you're performing, it's a different and new experience.
Yes, especially with the people that I work with, my band, and I'm working with an incredible gospel choir here in America, and we've been traveling a lot too. Every single time that I have the privilege of hearing them perform, I'm not on my own by any means. I'm a part of a really powerful team. Hearing them perform and what comes from them for the very first time every time is also just an incredible uplifting experience, just in itself.
Now, I want you to talk a little bit about the concept of, you're saying, with music, with truth and giving people hope. And it seems like some of the songs, not just obviously the Jewish world, but the secular world, are going more towards that. You have songs like Price Tag that talk about kind of we don't need to be into financial money type of things. We can be into other things. So do you think there's more of a movement in music in general to go to this spiritual, positive, hopeful place and something that the whole world can take in instead of some of the music we've heard in the past?
I hope so. I'm definitely always an optimist. I always pray and want to believe that the world is ready for something better and bigger and more enlightening and more truthful than the place that they have been in. I think it's very easy to be caught up in the consumer life, in the money life, in the things that don't really matter, in the shell, if you will. And I hope that the world is, as we move closer to whatever redemption God has for us in His heart and His mind, that we are ready for it. And to be ready for it, you have to be plugged into something that means something meaningful. So I hope that's true. For the sake of all of us, for the sake of my children, I hope this world is moving into a better place, so that God is going to give us more.
And I like that you talk about with your music is based on the concept of getting strength from kind of a bad place or positivity out of something bad. The old saying, if you have a lemon, make lemonade. So talk a little about that. How how you're able to do that, to take kind of a bad experience and make something good out of it, and incorporate that in your music.
A really good question.
Oh, thank you.
The lemon making lemonade. I feel like I guess I could comment on that, but really I think at the end of the day, and I don't want to sound kitschy or too over the top, it's really God. For me, it's God, and for me, it's having emunah and having faith in just faith in what God is giving me, and whether it's a challenge, whether it's a lemon, whether it's a beautiful day, whether it's a hard day, whether I feel like $1 million or I feel like I've been beaten down, I have to believe inside of myself that it's all coming from God, and it's all happening for a reason. And if I'm feeling low, it's because I have to learn something. If I'm feeling sad, I have to get strength from it. If I'm feeling happy, it's a gift. And I think believing in God has really, for me personally, has given me the strength to be who I am. I don't know who I would be if I didn't believe. If I didn't have the relationship with God that I had, I would have been. I don't know who I would have been. For years, even just losing my father, I would have been. That would have been it for me. I don't think I would have had the courage or the time or the patience to really work at this job that I do, trying to bring other people to God, if I didn't believe myself. I don't know if that makes sense.
No, it certainly does. And one of the things I was bringing up a few moments ago about the secular world kind of gravitating towards positiveness and that's not really a word, positivity, excuse me, and it kind of drawn to that place of hope. And then you have things like The Secret coming out, the movie, where people, they say the universe, and of course we as Jews say Hashem, but kind of being with, when they say the universe, and you circumstances come, and instead of just getting angry, kind of thinking, well, what's this supposed to teach me? What am I supposed to learn from this? So it seems like the whole world is gravitating towards this point. Could be the Mashiach era, that type of thing. But it looks like everybody's starting to go towards that direction.
I hope so, because if we're all moving together, then that's got to be a good sign.
Absolutely.
Hopefully.
Absolutely. Now, of course, you mentioned your father, and it's sometimes tough for a lot of people, a lot of children that come from famous fathers, and your father's certainly huge in the Jewish music world and music world in general, had a huge influence. And a lot of times, kids want to go out there, kids of famous parents, and want to do their own thing, make their own mark, and it's not simple, and it could be very much a difficult task. So how have you been able to do that, to understand that you learn obviously from your father, but you have your own message and your own gifts that you want to give to the world?
It wasn't hard for me to try to be who I am, because that's how I was raised. My father always encouraged me to be who I was. And I think people who feel like they're standing in their parents' shadow, maybe they're just in everyone's shadow, and maybe they haven't found their own place in the world yet. Because I could not possibly ever be my father. First of all, it would take about 10,000 of me to be my father. We all know the work and the tremendous influence and, I don't know, just the mileage that my father had. He did everything in his lifetime. We're different people. He had his mission in life, and I had mine. Sure. And I only ever feel greatly influenced and empowered by his memory and by all that he does, all that he did in his lifetime, and all that he continues to accomplish from the other world. Because I feel like he's pretty busy up there. If that makes any sense. I've never struggled with that. That's been a gift for me. I mean, people always say, "Wow, how do you feel like you can step out?" I don't ever want to step out. I want to stay who I am, and I want to stay as connected and as close to him as I possibly can at every moment of my life, because that's how I stay connected. That's how I maintain this relationship. Whatever it is, me in this world and him in the next.
Real beautiful stuff. And I wanted to ask you this because there's a lot of great stories about your father out there in the world. And I heard one about 3 years ago. It was in Israelite with Rabbi Mota Wolf, and he said that he said that your father, whenever he would get money for a concert, when the concert was over, would give all the money to tzedakah. And he made this joke because generally you're only supposed to give 20%. And he's like, imagine that you go up to Shemaim, and the problem they have against you is that you gave too much money. And I want to know, is that story true, that he would get these huge, he would perform for all over the world, big crowds, get a great payday, and then give all the money to tzedakah? How true is that statement?
I think that there were definitely some times in his life that he would have like a wad of cash in his pocket that he had just received from a promoter or from someone who had paid him, and he gave it away for one reason or another. I think that is definitely true. I don't believe you can't generalize and say every time he had a paycheck he gave it away, because that's not really accurate. But I do believe that he gave more than he received. I believe that, and as somebody who was dependent on him and someone who needed, I guess, more from him in terms of taking care of himself. It's something that I'm both proud of and something that I'm sad about. That he wasn't able somehow to sustain himself as much as he wanted to give to the world. And I always wish that it could have been different. I wish that he could have, had some sort of billionaire helping him out so that he could have supported all of those families worldwide, but at the same time not killed himself doing it.
That's of course, the whole dilemma of Chesed and Gevurah, that too much of one is difficult to live with, but. Still, I'd say, I have a hard time parting with my money. Sometimes I forget it's from Hashem, and I don't think your father ever forgot that. I think he always understood that his money came from Hashem.
I think my father felt everything came from Hashem, and he would say it constantly. He felt it. He lived it. I think anyone who had the privilege of really spending time with him really felt the presence of God in everything. It wasn't like, oh yeah, we believe on Shabbos, or God was a constant companion. God was in every sentence. God was in every breath that he took, and he lived in a way that he wanted, the way he wanted the world to be living. I think he wanted to serve as an example, and he genuinely also, even beyond that, genuinely loved every human being that he met, and had a heart that was. I named my son Raphael Lev Shlomo, because I wanted him to have my father's heart, but I also wanted for my son and for my father for there to be a healing. Because my father, I think, broke himself in half, being that healer and having that big heart that gave without end. Because in the end, seriously, I think it killed him. That's what I think.
Being too much of a giver and not maybe taking a little for himself, you're saying?
Yeah, you need to sleep at night. You need to. I at meals with him, and like his followers would literally take the food off his plate, like, oh, Shiraim from the Rebbe, like, dude, let him eat. You know, it's like at the end of the day, he had to eat. His people would be knocking on the door at 3 in the morning because they needed him, and calling him at all hours. And yes, he was notoriously up late and notoriously for being on the phone and for reaching out, but he also had to maintain some sort of health. And when it came down to it, he wasn't given that gift by the people who should have been nurturing him instead of taking. And I mean, that's also, I think we could probably talk about that for a very long time. Maybe one day I'll write a book.
There you go. Yeah, interesting. I always confused the big rabbi. It was the Vilna Gaon or the Chofetz Chaim, but one of those rabbis, he wanted to do so much and learn so much Torah that he didn't sleep, and had kind of it took too much out of him. And he actually he lost some memory of his Torah learning, and then he insisted that the yeshiva that he was running, that he personally would turn out the lights at midnight because we have to get some sleep. And that's always a fine line, that you got to get some sleep, you got to take some time for yourself, you got to rest, recuperate, because as much as people want to give, there's a certain balance, and there's a certain point that Hashem says you cross the line. You can't go that much. You got to take a little for yourself.
Exactly. Because we're human beings. We're living in this world, and that means that we have a body, and we have, as much as we want to maintain that soul relationship and be terribly spiritual and connected, we're only human.
Absolutely.
And to me, what that means, it means that we have to maintain health. And God gave us all these. I mean, what do you think the whole kosher thing is about? I mean, yeah, there's a lot of spiritual reasons, but God is showing us how to care for our bodies and our physical selves. And if we don't give ourselves the space to really do that, we're not able to do God's work. We're not able to. We're not able to care for our children. We're not able to give back to the world. We're not able to do all those incredible things that we're supposed to if we have no strength. Great
point. And you're encouraged right now to get some more exercise. So I appreciate that. I've been a little behind, but I'm working on it. I'm getting some good shoes hopefully next week, and do a little walking, playing basketball. So it's always something I got to remind myself. It's always important to take care.
Good for you. That's awesome. I'm telling you that you will feel so good.
Yeah,
You'll feel so good.
It's funny. Every time I exercise, I'm like, God, why don't I do this every day? I feel great. The endorphins kicked in. I think better. And it's the Yetzer Hara the following day that says, nah, sit down, drink some coffee, watch some stuff on YouTube. You don't need to exercise. That it's just amazing what the Yetzer Hara does. What a battle.
Yeah, it's true. But at the end of the day, you're a human being. And you have to accept that about yourself.
Absolutely.
I think that the power of my father was that he didn't do it for himself, that he really accepted human beings for who they were and as they were, and allowed us to feel that God loved us regardless. If we exercised, if we cared for ourselves, if we had the strength, if we had, the positive energy, if we had given up, God is still with you. God still loves you. God understands. God created us. God made us who we are.
I heard a great... sorry, go ahead.
No, please.
Well, I just want to say real quick, I want to jump on that point because I heard a rabbi say something beautiful 10 years ago. He says, if you turn away from God, and God didn't turn away from you, and if you just turn back, he's still there. He never left. He never went somewhere else. He's always there.
Yeah, he's always there. That's beautiful.
We're speaking, of course, with Neshama Karbach here on Louis Live. Neshama, I want to know, in addition to obviously your father's influence on your music career, obviously you loved him as a musician and as a father, but what other musicians out there do you like or influence your work? And you just say, whether secular, Jewish, religious, not Jewish, whatever it may be, who's a musician out there that you like?
I love everybody. I love jazz. I love jazz a great deal. I love Sting. I love Sarah McLachlan.
Oh, she's great.
And I think particularly, to be very honest, the musicians in the world that have influenced me the most are the people that I work with, my band.
Talk about your band. How long have you worked with your current band right now?
Many, many, many years. All of them, like decades, at least, if not more.
Now,
I really believe from them all the time.
Now, how did you go about piecing together this band? Because obviously you have a certain message and a certain goal you want to achieve, and you want to communicate your artistry to your fans. And how do you go about picking other people that are going to help you go about that and do that?
I I met each of them in different ways and in different moments of life, and I think that we felt maybe a common bond, a common thread of interest, and definitely commonality in the music. And first of all, I choose people to play with based on their talent and based on their capacity musically. That's the first thing. I'm sorry, this is New York after all.
Yes, that's right. At the end of the day, it's still New York City.
So that's the first thing that I focus on for sure is what they can do musically. I want to be inspired and transformed by my musicians at every moment. So those are first of all, that's the first thing. But then I think we become a family. And my drummer, first he was my drummer. First of all, he was my favorite drummer in the world. I adored him. His playing is just fabulous. And then he first became my drummer. His name is Mark Ambrosino, by the way. Then he became, he started a record label, and he signed me. So then he became, I guess, my producer and my label head, and now he's also my manager. And he's also, I should say, and I say this all the time, Mark is also like my Rebbe in this world.
Interesting.
Mark is the guy that I go to for guidance and for answers. And he's big, and he's like over 6'5" and Italian, and totally not that kind of person that you would think of as a Rebbe, but he's the most positive influence that I have in my life, and an amazing relationship that's grown out of really just a great admiration for his musical capacity. But now we've been working together. I think it's almost 10 years that he and I have been working together.
Now,
there you go.
So, right, is that at all a little weird that someone you might go to for maybe spiritual advice, philosophy, is someone that's around you all the time and is involved in your parnassah as well? Is that sometimes a little too much?
Yeah. Is it a little too much?
Meaning, like, is it kind of, because a lot of people, when they have the Rebbe lives in a different city or a different country sometimes, they speak to him sometimes once a week, sometimes it could be every day, but it's they're not around all the time. So this is a different scenario. So I want you to talk about if that's difficult at all.
I hear you. Oh, well, he's not that kind of Rebbe. He's not like a Rebbe. He's not even Jewish. When I say he's a Rebbe, he's a spiritual person in my life, someone who I look to for answers. And he's involved in every aspect of my work, in every possible aspect. But it's a beautiful thing, and it's a blessed thing, and it's something that I deeply appreciate.
All right, Neshama, we would love to talk to you more, but it's approaching midnight here in Jerusalem, so we have to wrap things up. But everyone, please give the contact information one more time, how they can reach you and be entertained by your music.
Yes, neshamakarlebach.com, NESHAMACARLEBACH.com. And my mailing list is there, our music is there. We actually, I don't know if you know that we made the first level of the Grammy Awards this year.
Wow.
With our recording Higher and Higher. And thank God we're performing all over the world with sold-out houses, and really so want to reach out to you and for you to be a part of our work. So please reach out, say hello, be a part of our lives, and God bless.
Neshama, thank you so much for being on Louis Live tonight. We greatly appreciate it, and we look forward to you coming back to Israel real soon, and then when that happens, we'll have to have you in studio.
Thanks. I would love it. This is a beautiful interview. Thank you for your time.
Absolutely, Neshama. Thank you so much. Be well. Shalom Tova.
Awesome. You too. Bye. Laila Tov.
Laila Tov. That was Neshama Karbach on Louis Live and IsraelSportsRadio.com. That's going to conclude our show for tonight. Next week, we got some great stuff. We are going to have an author. Yes, I know, for those of you who say I don't read. But we're going to have an offer about the first home run king. I'll tell you, you'll have to find out on Sunday for that. We hope to have Jasmine Marcus next week. Adam Mallerman, of course, who hosts the show Adam in the Morning on one of the days next week. And Lori Brownstone, a comedian who's performed at the Laugh Factory in Los Angeles. So that will be next week, and of course, shortened week next week because of the Chagim, the high holidays. Rosh Hashanah is Wednesday night, so that means we're only on Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, and not Thursday night. But we look forward to coming back the following week with full shows, nice and strong. That, of course, is it for tonight. Want to thank all our great guests. Andy Dorf from Dorf on Sports, breaking down the Diamondbacks' success, Ian Kennedy's potential Cy Young win, and the Cardinals, 1-1, but hey, you only need to be 500 to win that division, let's be honest. Jeremy Last, talking about some Israelis jumping ship and then not jumping ship at the end, not playing for the Polish team and coming back to Israel. And we kind of had a discussion of our ancestry. I don't know how that happened exactly, but it's Jeremy Last. He goes in different directions. Jim Williams from the Washington Examiner breaking down the movie Moneyball starring Brad Pitt. Like I mentioned, I have not seen a movie in 2 years in the theater, but I'm going to check out this film hopefully next week. It's going to be a lot of fun. I love the book. It was great, and I know Andy's listening. Andy's going to say, you don't read books, but it was a book on tape, and I know the book pretty vividly. I can quote you certain sources of it. It was really entertaining, and he truly changed the game around, Billy Beane, because you talk about a small market team with the Oakland Athletics that consistently competed with the likes of the New York Yankees with their $200 million payroll. So very fascinating tale, and if you're going to see a movie this week, it's probably a good movie to check out. I'm not the biggest Brad Pitt fan, but hey, whatever works, right? And, of course, Neshama Karabach, musician, a great musician, very well known here in Israel, and she was very honest about some of the missed things we've heard about her father, saying that he didn't give charity after every single concert, like some of the tales say, and also she was somewhat upset that he didn't take some time for himself. We always have to take time for ourselves, no matter who we are and what we do for a living. But that is it for tonight. God bless and good night.